Welcome, everyone. We are live this beautiful. Okay, wait. What day it is? Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Is it my fault that my life sucks? That's the topic today. Because no, not yet. Come on, work with me. Shh, 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 shh. Is it my fault that my life sucks? Listen, itty bitty, Lord Jesus. Well, to answer the question, it is your fault. That's what he said. Listen, just give me 1 minute. I thought he was going to listen to me today, but no. Okay. Why is it your fault? You see, we like that word. Listen. You see, we like that word, right? We like that word fault. We like that word blame. It is associated with shame and guilt. You see? And self pity and feeling bad for ourselves. That's why we would ask a question like that. Is it my fault? Perhaps a better thing, a better question, or a better statement, if you want to assess the trajectory of your life, the better thing to inquire would be, what am I doing that contributes to my hardship? It's not a matter of blame or fault. Those are words that we use, and when you use those words, they trigger a physical sensation in your body. I want you to stop and think about that for just a brief moment. When you say, oh my God, that's my fault. Oh, you're guilty, eh? What are you guilty of? Perhaps guilty of not recognizing the mental state that you have let yourself slide into so freely. Perhaps that, right? But the key here is not to beat oneself up. That's the key. That's the key. Don't beat yourself up. Is there a problem that you can genuinely recognize? Is there a habit that you can recognize and say, wait, why do I keep doing that? That's the better question, because now when you ask that question is free from bondage. It does not ensnare you. Why do I keep behaving like that? It's open so you can see inside yourself. That's what it does. It allows you to see inside of yourself and why you would make such a decision. Why why did I do that? But if you say, "Oh my God, my life sucks. Why does this keep happening to me? This is my fault. No, this is my mother's fault. You see, this is their fault. I didn't have every opportunity like everybody else. This is why I'm so behind." Oh, see what we say to ourselves? And then when we say things like that to ourselves, why would you want to change? Why would you? You don't feel inspired to change. You feel inspired to crawl into the nearest hole. That's what that kind of a question inspires one of us to do. So, how do you release that? You see, we hear the phrase, let it go, let it go. We hear that, right? But it is the recognition of the thing or the problem that causes you to let it go. How so? You can see it. You can see the sliver. Ah, now you pluck it out. It's one motion. You see it and you can pluck it out. How do you get out of a sliver? As they do in Barbados, you put something oily on it so that when you slide on it, it comes right out and causes you minimal pain because there's no friction. It's slippery, yeah? When you recognize your hidden habit, when you recognize the action that you are doing that is mucking up your life, when you see it, you've set yourself free from it. You've let it go right from there. If you didn't see it, you would not know. Knowing is where the solution is. When you see that habit that's mucking up your life, you're now free. Oh, you doubt me, do you? Well, if you did not see the habit, if you didn't see this thing that you were doing, you would continue to do it. That's it right there. If you don't see it, you will continually do it. But when you see it, now you can say, whoa, wait a minute. You can say that. You've seen it, you can recognize it. And now you're faced with the question, would I like to continue doing this? Or would I like to change? And chances are you will decide that you want to change. And for some of us, well, you know how it goes. The desire to change must be stronger than the desire to remain the same. And just even a little bit stronger. All you need is to tip the scale in the direction of where you want to be. Get out polarity. Remember, left and right. Where are you now and what are you doing? You can see it now. You've caught it. You caught the culprit lurking in the darkness. You caught him. And now that you have him there, you don't want him. Oh, no, you don't. You say, what would I prefer to be doing? Where would I prefer to be in life? That's what you say. And you begin to sit there and you imagine, what would my life be like if I did a complete 180? If I turned my life around, what would that be like? How would my family see me? How would they speak to me? Would I speak to them? How would I behave? Would would I go to work with the same attitude? How would I do my job? Would that inspire me to become an entrepreneur? Would that inspire me to uh, rise up the annals of and seek a promotion at my job? What would that cause me to do if my life were different? Ah, and you begin to question it. And you don't just question it, you begin to. I love what Neville said. He was cheeky, wasn't he? He said, you toy with the idea that you are imagining. Just toy with it. What would it feel like to you? Because listen, the moment you ask yourself, is it my fault? You feel something. You feel the pangs of something. So if you ask, what would it be like if I did a complete 180? You will also feel something. And the thing that you're feeling will tell you if you have pointed yourself in the direction of change. Because the change, even though it may be a little bit scary, mm, even though it may be a little bit scary, the change, you anticipate it, you are excited by it, you are curious. And so you know you're going in the right direction. Even though you might say to yourself, well, oh, I can't stay this way forever. I might as well make a change because I'm tired of being tired. That's what you say. But here's the thing, don't be afraid of change. Whether you initiate or the change is initiated for you, never be afraid of change. Why? Because if the change was not initiated by you, meaning somebody or something on the outside you are allowing to force you to change, you can always revise it so that you are the one in control of the change. And when you are the one in control of the change that you're making in your life, every cause has its effect, every effect its cause. And when you know the cause, you can predict the effect. As within, so without, as above, so below. When you are aware of the seed of change that you have planted, you can predict the fruit. So, is change scary? Should you be afraid of change? No, not in any case. And I just told you why. You don't have to be afraid of change. We all change because everything moves, nothing remains the same. You either continue being as you are or you become what you want to be, but everything changes. It does. So, is it my fault? Is it your fault that your life sucks? No. You are just in a state and you're behaving according to the state, but you're behaving according to the state blindly. That's what you're doing, day in and day out. That's what you're doing, day in and day out, and you need to be afraid of it. When in actuality, you just need to open your eyes. What's that song we used to sing in church? Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. We used to sing that in church. You and I, we sit here and we say, I want to see, but you put your hands over your eyes. You don't have to be afraid to see. All you are going to see is the state that you are in. That's all you're going to see. And when you see the state that you have so diligently occupied for quite some time, well, now you can make the change. You can make the change. But I know we've heard for so many years, can't teach a no dog new tricks. People never change. That's what we've heard. When in actuality, we all change. How many days does it take before we have a new batch of red blood cells? 120 days. So we change from a cellular level. As within, so without. So if we are changing from a cellular level, then we have to know that we're changing on the outside as well. But you see, the thoughts, the predominant thoughts that we feel, that's what we keep planting and reaping. The predominant thoughts that we feel. How does it feel when somebody looks at you and goes, you know what, this is your fault? How does it feel when you look at somebody and you, Lord have mercy, let me ruffle a little feathers this morning. We want to look at our mothers and our fathers and whomever else. This is your fault. You did this to me. Now, I can say that from experience because that was said to me once at the tender age of, I was either 17 or 18, and she actually had a mental breakdown. She came to the door of where I was staying and she rang the doorbell. And of course, I was excited to see her because she's my auntie. Like, why wouldn't I be excited? And listen, she was not in her right mind. I hope she doesn't listen to this. If not, I didn't call her name. She knows who she is. And she looked at me with those wild eyes. You did this to me. And I was like, what? What did I do to you? But I know how it made me feel in the moment that she said it to me. So you see, we say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can't hurt me? Cha! It's not that they hurt you, it is your perception of those words that make you feel them. And the way you feel them dictates the way that you behave. So it's not a matter of fault or blame. It's a matter of, do you want to remain in the dark? See, that's what we do. Sometimes we choose to remain in the dark and then complain about how we stub our toes in the dark. Hmm? Do you see what we do to ourselves? When all really, someone said yesterday, you don't know what I should or should not be doing. I agree. I don't know what anybody should or should not be doing. I'm just speaking in general terms. You are the one left with the decision to examine your own life. All you need to do is examine it. Here I am telling you what you need to do or need not do. Just examine. If you're the one saying, oh my God, my life sucks, and day after day it's the same thing. What's even the purpose of living? Oh God, we say that, don't we? We jump to conclusions and we are so quick to end it instead of being quick to examine it. Be quick to examine without judgment. Be quick to examine without judgment. Just look at it and ask yourself, man, do I want this to continue? Do I want this activity to continue? No. What would I prefer to be doing? And you sit down. Now, some of us are tactile and we write. You have your own personality, so you figure out what it is that you do and how you do it. Do you write? Well, sit down and write it out. You look at where you are and what you're doing. You jot that down because sometimes it helps, you know. I mean, you can look at it and read it and you go, oh, that's cringeworthy. And then on the other side of that page, well, I know what I don't want. I can see it clearly right there. But what would I like? Remember, the question isn't, is it possible for you to have it? The question isn't, are you worthy of having it? The question isn't, I'm not as good as the other person, so maybe I shouldn't have it. That's not the question. The question is, what do you want for your life? That is the question. Answer the question and answer it honestly. You see what we do to ourselves when we ask ourselves a question? We vacillate. We flop back and forth between things. And you know what we're flopping back and forth between? Whether we deserve it or not. Whether we're good enough to have it, whether we are worthy. That is why we blur our intuition. That's how we blur our intuition. Well, I don't know if I'm good enough. Can I do this? Can I afford this? Is this no. What do you want? That is the question. Yeah, but if I say I want a good life, am I doing something that others can't do? I don't care. That's not the question. The question is, what type of life do you now want to live in comparison to the one you're presently living? So if your life sucks, you are the one having the same thought over and over and over and over and over again. It's become your way. It has become your habit. So what happens with habits? Oh, habits force us. They compel us. Ask the one who's in rehab what habits do. And if you don't have it, what is it? If you don't have the thing, is thrown into what? Withdrawal. And some people would prefer to not suffer the withdrawal. I got to stop there because I've never been addicted to a substance. So I can't tell you what withdrawal feels like. I've seen it though. Huh? It is not a pleasant experience. But if you think about it, look at how tumultuous it is. Look at how hard it appears to be. And then you will understand why people would choose to remain as they are. Neville said, resist the urge to go back to the old habit. So if your life sucks, it is only because you are habitually in a particular mental state day in and day out. So as soon as you could say, oh my God, my life sucks, haha, what do? There's only certain things in life meant to be sucked on. Ice cream, lollipops. I digress. See, those are pleasant things, aren't they? But life is meant to be lived and lived more abundantly. It shouldn't suck. Not life. It is not a lollipop. I digress again. So when you recognize that you're saying it sucks, get out that pen and paper or get out your notes in your phone. What would you prefer it to be? And the moment you decide what you want it to be, a particular feeling will catch you. And you'll know what it feels like. Does it feel good to you? Well, then if it feels good, that's what you want. Go with that. Because it feels good. But if it feels trepidatious, if it feels heavy and icky and you're like, ugh, I can't, then you haven't allowed yourself to go there. You're still holding yourself back with whatever it is, with worry, with fear. That's what you're doing. That's why you can't shake it. And sometimes we want to say, I can't fight this feeling anymore. Sometimes we want to say that. Sometimes we want to just throw in the towel and say that. But don't fight the feeling. Invoke the feeling. Hello? Do not fight the feeling. You have the power to invoke it. You have the power to say, ooh, I want to feel like this. That's what you have the power to do. And how do you do it? Oh, think about it. Engage your senses with the, I wonder what it would be like if I were to sprinkle a little bit of this over there. What would it be like if I did this? And if you did it like that, with that kind of tone, with that kind of sensation in your thoughts, well, your body would respond in kind. Your body would say, yes, I know, right? Doesn't that feel good? Oh, let's do it. And you'll be presented with an opportunity to do it. Because we act according to the state. However that state makes you feel is how you will act, period. So no, your life doesn't suck, and it's not your fault. We don't throw blame, we sprinkle confetti, not blame, okay? So the moment you ask yourself, why does my life suck? The moment you ask that, you have just recognized the habit or the behavior that you are doing on a daily basis. And then you get right there at that point. Some people call it a rock bottom. Some people call it that. But then, allegedly, the only thing to do when you're at the bottom is to look up. Which is to do what? To rise. Raise your level of thinking about yourself. How would you ever become a phenomenal businessman if you look in the mirror and you think that you suck? How? How would you possibly rise to the upper echelons of anything if you weigh yourself down with the, I'm so not good enough for this. Oh, they're too good for me. And we call that self-sabotage. We're so quick to label things. How about we be quick to examine it and change it instead of slapping a label on it? You don't have to put a label on it. You see that you don't like it. Well, then, what would you prefer? And get inside your mind's eye. Remember what I told you yesterday about inspired action? No such thing. Get into the state that you want to be in. And when you get into, listen, if you get into an abundant state, it doesn't matter where you go, you will always be in the right place at the right time to take advantage of all the deals that there are. Listen, you'll be in the right place at the right time to get it for free. Even though you can afford it and afford much more, you're always in the right place at the right time. Why? Because you are in a state of abundance, which means when you're walking down the street, because I tend to walk a lot, I just park the car and walk. I'm not far from things, so I just walk. And I find that when I'm walking to the store, my mind is like free. And I start thinking things. I caught myself the other day and I was like, wait, you're still having that thought? Girl, you better rein that in. But you see, sometimes we just walk and let the thoughts do what they want. We don't shepherd our thoughts at all. But if you are walking somewhere, you're walking the dog, and you're complaining in your mind's eye, what state are you in? And then when you go somewhere, oh man, I missed the light. Now I gotta wait here for the pedestrian crossing all the time. Or I missed the light. I stuck in traffic. But look at where your thoughts are. That's the best time to catch yourself, when you're showering, when you're walking, when you're driving. Those are washing the dishes. Those are things you do on autopilot. So the thoughts just have their way of running amok. And if you don't use your rod and your staff to catch those wayward thoughts, you're a shepherd, remember? If you don't use, like little Bo Peep, the crook to catch your wayward thoughts, you remain in that state. Because that thought that seems so distant and so far away, it's making you feel something. Now your whole gait changes, the way you walk changes based upon the thought you're having that you don't know you're having. The set of your mouth, the furrow between your eyebrows changes, all because you are not paying attention to the thought you're having. And then we have the audacity to ask, why life sucks? It sucks because we keep having the same persistent thought that moves us to act accordingly. So now let's get to the solution. How do we change? When you're out and about, listen, if you're doing the dishes, if you're vacuuming, if you're sweeping, your thoughts are there. What is it? Catch it. You ever? Now, if you're not a black girl, this may not apply. But then again, it might, because you might have had one of those mothers trying to get the tangles out of your hair. And you put your hand to go, ouch. You put your hand up to your head, ouch. And she hits you on the back of your hand with the comb. Listen, that's a vivid memory. With this 4C hair, shoot, that is a vivid memory. You and I, we do that to ourselves. This thing that we're doing to ourselves hurts. But what if your mother was just upset? And it's just because of what she's thinking that she's upset. So she's much more aggressive in the combing and brushing of your hair. You see how we act blindly when we don't pay attention to those wayward thoughts we're having? Oh, my son catches me all the time. Oh, mother, you're in a mood today. And I'm like, what? He's like, see? And I'm like, oh. He's not wrong. And then I have to catch myself. Oh, snap. That's what I was thinking about. I was either anxious or worried or genuinely upset about something. I don't know what it was, but the feeling is there. And because the feeling is there, the thought isn't there anymore. It's fleeting, but the feeling remains. And then I act according to the feeling. That's what we do. That's what we do, and we don't even know that we're doing it. So let us not act blindly. So the moment you catch yourself saying, oh my God, my life sucks, catch it. Catch it. Catch it. Because it's there, right there. It is in the acknowledgement of that thought that you can now set yourself free. Well, you can walk in your freedom from there. And as soon as you see it, this is no longer tolerable. What would I prefer to be doing instead? Not if I'm good enough to do it. Not if I'm worthy enough to do it. Not if I'm deserving enough to do it. No. Do you want to do it? You guys make me want to do it again. But do you want to get down? Yeah, do you want to do it? Well, then, let that be the deciding factor. Just that you want to do it. Do you wanna? Isn't that from a movie with Jim Carrey? But I digress. Do you want to do it? Well, then, what is it that you would like to do? See it in your mind's eye. Begin to imagine it, because it will invoke within you a mood or a feeling. And that is your cue that you are in the desired state. Now, what's that song? If you're not with the one you love the one you're with. I just know the lyric. I don't know the melody of it. But if you fall in love with that new state, meaning you are eager and excited to see how this pans out. Listen, when you get into the new state, you are in a new relationship. How? You are now in a new relation. Where do you relate to life now from this state? You're in a relationship. Oh, you want to be in this one, don't you? Oh, so when you're in this relationship, it feels good, doesn't it? And it makes you want to return to it over and over again. Because think about how we do it. We do it the other way. We return to the... My granddaddy would always, because it's scripture, my granddaddy would always say to me, do not be like a dog and return to your own vomit. Yeah, not a good picture. Sorry if you were eating. But do not return to your vomit. Do not return to the things that agitate you. They serve you no purpose. You cannot nourish yourself from it. Penguins, that's different. They're feeding their young, they're regurgitating. That's where all the nutrients are. That's deliberate. Not reflect. It's not reflex. Yes? So don't return to the things that aggravate you, but return to the things that entice you to change your life for the better. Return to the things that cause you to be like SpongeBob and spring out of bed and go, I'm ready. Return to those things. And the more you return to that, you begin to embody it. That thought and that feeling will be there now because you have what? Encouraged it to be there. And now that it's there, you say, ooh, this feels good, doesn't it? Feels good, right? It feels good. And you want to be there. That is how you persist without effort. It is the love. It is the love of a thing that will cause you to persist without effort. You don't have to force yourself to be there. You just have to love it, and nothing can keep you away from it. That is how you persist. That is how you remain consistent. But you see, we want to force ourselves because we think we're somehow being worthy when we have to grin and bust our way through it. No, fall in love with it. Or hate it, depending on which way the cookie crumbles. Because you know how we humans like to do it. The thing you hate has your attention so much. Why? What good does it do you? Does it give life to you? Nah, it's a life sucker. I remember only very few things in life are worthy of sucking on, but I digress. So return often to the thoughts that make you feel good, because your body will correspond with that. And now you'll brush your hair differently, won't you? Oh, yes, you will. You will comb your hair. Listen, if this is how I talk to myself, if I got up and I said, well, listen, let me just call my stylist and she'll come and do my hair, because Lord knows this is not my favorite thing. That's why I say to you, it has to be in the little things that you do where you would see your change. If you're like me, you don't like combing your hair, you'd rather just cut it off. But what if you were in a position to have your stylist on call, where she'd just come to you and go, I got you, girl. Let me make you look good today. Let's tame this dude. Let's tame it. Well, I would get up in the morning and I would have a smile on my face because I don't have to comb my own hair. Feels good, doesn't it? Yes. And I could soothe my mother, because she always says, don't cut your hair. That's your crown of glory. Ugh. So you see, if you were living an abundant life and you could call your stylist whenever, well, you would comb your hair different, wouldn't you? You would comb your hair different from what you're doing now. If you could afford to have a great dental plan and you went to the dentist every 6 months, when you brush your teeth, that would be different, wouldn't it? Of course. See, it's in those things that you do. And that's where the thoughts catch us, in the little things. It's not the big things. Mind you, there's no size, right? Just our perception. How would you do things? Get into your imagination and see it. How would you act? And the way that you see it will cause your body to respond. Then return to that because it feels good. Fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. Love will keep us together, right? Fall in love with it and you will, listen, you will never leave it, will you? You know what I'm talking about. Love it. And that is what causes us to persist in our actions. Love. That's how come love will change the world. Because when you fall in love with a new person, you say you can see in your mind's eye, then you've changed. And you walk through the world differently. You greet somebody differently. I will greet you in the morning with a how do you? How do you do? Yeah? You'll greet anybody with a smile, as opposed to with a scowl and a frown on your face. All because your thoughts are different. So don't think for a moment that because I can't see your thoughts and that the other person can't see your thoughts. The waitress can't see your thoughts, but the way you speak to the waitress will tell her what kind of mood you're in, which will tell her the kind of person that you are, because you'll know a man or a woman by their habits. How would you go out to eat at the restaurant? What would your behavior be like if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? Anyway, let me not get all wound up and carried away this morning. I trust that the next time you are tempted to complain about where your life is or is not, you will catch it like little Bo Peep with your crook. Rein in that thought. Get it to fall in line with the new way of thinking. And you will know what you're thinking based upon your actions and the tone with which you do your action. The tone with which you do your action. You will know when someone is in pain. You might not see them limping, but you'll know when they're in pain. How? The way they treat you. Whether it is physical pain or emotional pain, you will know. So you see, you think it is hidden, but it is not. Anyhow, let us get the bowl. But when you hear the bowl, allow yourself to get into your mind's eye. What would my life be like if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be? How would I go to the laundromat? How would I go to the restaurant? How would I walk down the grocery store? How would I go to Devil Mart? Walmart. That's what I call it. How would you do those things? How would you fill up your car with fuel? All those things. How would you live your life? Allow the bowl to teleport you into the recesses of your imagination, where you can begin to stroke the embers of your passion for living, for life itself. If you don't feel like life is worth living, that is only because you are in a state. But if you change your state, you will see how beautiful life actually is. So allow yourself to be teleported there and feel it. And like the presence of a lover, return there often. Because you know what happens to you when you return to that state, don't you? We leave and we are fulfilled, yes? The state of the wish fulfilled. And you'll persist and you won't even know you're persisting because it feels good to persist. Wait, before we get to the bowl, I didn't even say hello to everybody this morning. Hey, Twitter is on a replay gang today. Sugar Visions. Oh, Zenovia. Well, grand rising to you, my beautiful Zenovia. And you know I haven't said that name in a while. And Defy Drea. Hey, I see you. Marjorie, darling, I see you. Hello, Renee. Cyber, the better man. One, I see you. And for the others who've not made themselves known, you know I see you too on YouTube and Facebook. Fan base, who's here? Afternoon Delight, hey. Marquise is here. MJanie. Oracle Treehouse, KZ. Flo Smiles. Joaquin is here. Cause I'm happy is in the house. Oh, Sari is here. Hey, Nino. Sack Black is here. Zeesty and Sufi. You guys are all here this morning. Thank you for being here, and I trust that you found this morning's inspiration to be of a benefit to you, and that you will not be just a hearer of the word, but you will be a doer of the word. Oh, do it and do it and do it well. That's what we do around here. And LL Cool J, he has Barbadian roots. His grandfather is a Bajan, so hey, let's just, you know, let's just throw that sprinkle, sprinkle. These Bajans everywhere. But I digress. When you hear the bowl, invoke your mood, arouse your own senses. When you hear the bowl, to see what your life would be like if you were the man or the woman you said you wanted to be. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to feel it. Remember, we are the cause, yes? Let me get the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Twitter, much love to you all. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook, thank you all for being here on this lovely, lovely Tuesday morning. You know I love you. Remember, if you have not purchased or pre-ordered your Hermetic Oracle cards, the link is in the description below. It says pre-order. It's the very first link. Simply pre-order them. And if you have not signed up for the Barbados retreat for September 2024, and you would like to, slide into my DMs and let me know if that's something you would love to do. Because you know we'd love to have you on our wee island. You know we'd love to have you. Are there any more announcements? I don't think so. So Facebook and YouTube, you know I love you. I will see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, if you ever have a topic you would like covered, well, feel free to slide into my DMs and let me know. Whatever platform you follow me on, let me know. Also, there are many things coming down the pipe as well, in my Patreon. There's a link for there as well. So you can sign up for there for free if you'd like to. Or because you love what we do, you can sign up for $1 every month. You could do that. Totally up to you. Yeah, Facebook and YouTube, I love you. And I will see you tonight. 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here, what is the title of our what's the title tonight? The title tonight is Persistent Assumption. It is sure to be a good one. So I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. Much love, YouTube and Facebook. Peace.